Good day, fam, and welcome back to another episode of JustReikkoTV. It's just me, Rico, and I'm going to be your host for today. Now, today is going to be Monday, June the 30th, and I am so excited to share with you guys a new garden update as well as a garden tour. As a matter of fact, I'm going to dub this video the good, the bad, and the ugly of the garden. And that's because there's been so much going on, and a lot of the times we show you guys all of the good things, all of the great things that we see in the garden, but there are a lot of things that aren't so great, that aren't so good, that happens in the garden. And I'm gonna be sharing all of that, all of my experiences, all of my situations with you guys today in this garden tour, garden update. So come along with me and let's go ahead and get this garden tour done. First off, I got my Stanley cup here that is filled with water. Please make sure that you stay hydrated while you are out here in the garden. So before I actually begin the garden tour, I just wanted to give you guys a nice little span of my garden as a whole. It is so beautiful the way things have been growing and producing, and I am extremely proud. All right, guys, so I always like to start my tour at the front of the garden where there is usually a pop of color. Unfortunately, the sun has been doing damage to my snapdragons. They've been dying and growing and dying and growing, but you still see some beautiful pink right here on this flower. I had went ahead and cut this one off. That way I can put some flowers inside of the house. But there are still pods growing on some of the plants. Right over here, my beautiful yellow snapdragon is definitely still trying to survive. They're doing great considering this this weather and these 80 and 90 degrees that we have been experiencing lately. All right. And as we come straight through, right here to the left is going to be my batch of corn. And my corn has been growing so green and so lush. They're looking so good. I am so extremely happy about them. I think the last time I showed you guys a video of my corn, they were nowhere near this tall, but I've been doing a great job in making sure that I water them every day. And for the past few weeks, I've definitely been giving them fish fertilizer just to make sure that they stay lush and green and grow big and tall. I'm definitely waiting for the tassels and everything like that to start growing on them so I can be sure that I'm hand pollinating them myself. Right over here to the left of my melon trellis, we have good things going on with this watermelon plant right here. We actually have quite a few watermelons that has been really growing really good, especially since I hand pollinated those watermelon plants. Now, right over here is, you see that, guys? That watermelon has just been bursting with growth overnight. These are sugar baby watermelons, by the way. And then I have another that is growing right there. And we have another one right over here. Now I also have, if I can find them, I also have a few small ones that are actually growing as well. But what I'm trying to make sure is, because I'm not the best at pruning my watermelon plants, because I don't know what I'm pruning. I don't know if I'm pruning the right things or the wrong things. So I just make sure that, oh wow, look, there's a little other one growing on that right there. So I really just make sure that I only have one watermelon plant that is growing on each one of these vines. And that's basically how I gauge how I want my watermelons to grow. And it's looking like they're going to actually grow at a pretty decent size. So I'm really excited about that. This second plant right here, I'm really surprised that it's been continuing to grow, and it's actually got like a little plant on there, a little watermelon on there as well. And that's because the other day, while I was fertilizing these plants, I realized, hold on, let me see if I can get you guys to see that. There was a whole split in this vine. There was a whole split in the vine. So I'm like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if something ate it. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if it's going to continue to grow. But there has been, since then, this has been about a week ago since I fertilized it. And since then, it has been growing and it formed that little fruit on there. So I'm just going to leave it do its thing. If it gets watermelons on it, I'll be really, really thankful. And if not, that'll be okay. That's part of the good, the bad, and the ugly of gardening. Coming around here to the left side, to the right side of my melon trellis. Now, recently I did a video, it's a short, it's on YouTube and on TikTok, asking for help from my more experienced gardeners with my cantaloupes. My cantaloupes has been growing so many male flowers on them, but no female flowers at all. Look at all of these flowers. None of them are female flowers. So I posed the question asking, like, what am I doing wrong? Because I've been fertilizing, I've been feeding them, they've been in the sun, they're growing really well, but there has been no female flowers on them at all. But I've heard that I just have to be a little bit patient, make sure that I fertilize them with more PK. And so I am going to try a different fertilizer the next time I fertilize them. But most people say to just be patient. Right down here is going to be my honeydew melon plant. And it's finally started to grow, and then it seemed like it was stunted or it stopped growing. But then now it's really, really starting to grow a little bit more, and it's got new leaves and things like that on it. So I'm really excited about the growth process on this one. I'm surprised it's not growing as fast, but patience is a virtue, and I got that right now. All right, right behind where my melons are going to be my 2 potato plants. Now, it looks like this potato plant right here has actually been dying down the most. I'm still seeing like fresh growth on some of them, but for the most part, it has definitely been dying down. And of course, when potato plants die all the way down, that basically means the potatoes are ready. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on this plant just to make sure that I catch it at the right time. And when it dies, it's not sitting there for too long. This second potato plant right here, it's been dying off, but it's also been growing a lot of newer leaves as well. Even the stalks of the plant, they're more green than the other ones over there where they're starting to get like brown and things like that. So I'm figuring that these potatoes are going to take just a little bit longer to die down and for them to be ready, which is totally okay. All right, guys, the bad, the ugly. Right over here are my 2 broccoli plants. I went ahead and pulled these 2 broccoli plants to the side because I'm going to take them out of these pots and use these pots for something else. This plant it's just grown long, elongated, and these are like the flowers and stuff like that on this broccoli plant. It's not supposed to be like this. This is a Calabrese broccoli, and it's supposed to get like a head, but the head never really came out and formed right. It just started growing and growing tall, like I said. And I think that that's because of the weather. This is not a heat tolerant broccoli variety. And maybe next year I'll do more research and get a heat tolerant variety. But I'm going to take these plants out of the pots because they've been doing nothing at all. And then I'm going to put some more seeds in the pot. There are some things that I can still grow. It's June 30th, and I'm going to get some other plants in really, really quick. Coming right over here to one of my Crimson Sweet watermelon plants. This watermelon has been doing good, growing along the fence line. I haven't seen any plants or flowers start to develop on this one yet, but it's okay. I know eventually it'll definitely come along. But right now it is growing pretty good, and we still have a pretty long summer for me to get 1 or 2 or even 3 watermelons on that plant. All right, right beside that plant is going to be my cucumbers. Now, my cucumbers have not been playing. Right now, the leaves are a little bit droopy and things like that because it's like 82, 83 degrees out here. And I'm definitely going to get a shade cloth over these plants once I do the video. But looky here, guys. Look at this right here. I have a cucumber right here. It's almost ready to be harvested. I also have one, where is it? Right there. That's also almost ready to be harvested as well. And then I have just a bunch of other cucumbers that are growing on this plant. And I'm very excited. Look at this. It's a bee. Where did it go? It's right there. You guys see it? It's a bee. It's doing its thing. Nice. There's even in the back where the vines are spreading, there's even cucumbers down there as well. So this cucumber plant is really doing its thing, really producing. Right beside my cucumber plant is going to be my tomato plant. This is my indeterminate tomato plant. It is getting much bigger, and I am very excited. It's also started to produce, like, look right there. We got 2 nice sized tomatoes right there. And then we have a bunching of tomatoes right here. This is my Drusba tomato plant. And I know it's going to be producing all season. So I am very excited about that. All right, right next to the tomato plant is my green beans. Now, guys, I don't know what happened with this. Green beans are one of my favorite vegetables. And unfortunately, man, after those 2 green beans had popped up on the one plant, I've seen nothing else. Now, the plant has been growing up the trellis, but they've just not been producing anything. So what I did was I planted 3 more bean seeds with hopes that they'll be able to produce a little something. But I think by next week, I'm going to go ahead and pull these 2 plants out. And if those other beans doesn't produce anything, I'm going to try to get something else in that pot as well. Like I said, I love green beans, but they're just not producing. I don't know what I did wrong, but we'll just hope that we get some growth from those other beans that I actually planted in there. All right. And then right next to that is going to be my other tomato plant. Now, this right here is my semi-determinate tomato plant. These are going to be my homestead tomatoes, and they've actually been growing pretty well as well. Look at that right there. Nice. A nice batch of tomatoes on there. And there's definitely been like a lot of new flower growth that's growing. You got some flowers right there. Some more flowers behind that right there. So really excited about that. I really am excited about trying the 2 different tomatoes just to see how the varieties differ from each other. And look down here. You have the marigolds that's been actually popping out of here as well. Marigolds, the colors in these marigolds have been so beautiful. You're going to see a lot of pop of those, especially when I get over to my pepper patch. But they have been doing so well. All right. Right beside that is going to be my other Crimson Sweet watermelon plant. Now, this watermelon plant has just been growing. And I'm really glad that I've trained it to grow along the fence, because if I didn't, it'll just be like a huge patch sitting right here. And even though I have this space, I'd rather it grow along the fence. my dilemma is going to be like, for instance, look, there's a watermelon that is on there, but now I'm going to have to figure out, as the watermelon gets big, what am I going to do to build up something so I can make sure that the watermelon plant has something to rest on. That is a project that I'm gonna kind of probably leave to my friend and let him figure that out. Oh, wow, look. It looks like I just spotted another little plant that's beginning to form on there. Look at that. Nice. All right, so right down here, we have our carrot. And you never really can be able to see what's going on under there with the carrots. I haven't been seeing any pops of orange or anything like that, but they're continuing to look good. The leaves are continuing to grow. I'm keeping them shaded as much as possible because I do want some carrots. I want to make a homemade carrot cake as well as carrot juice and things like that. With carrots, I can just come and pull from out here. All right, and right over here, I made a little seating area with a little umbrella, kind of like right there. That way I can just chill, sit, and relax and enjoy the view of my garden. Let me sit down real quick so I can have you guys see what I'm really looking at when I'm just sitting here and chilling and being happy. Moving along. All right, guys, now coming up to my pepper patch. I'm so excited to show you guys this area of the garden because there's been so much nice growth. But let's go ahead and start with the sweet potatoes. My sweet potatoes have been growing really, really good, but there has been a lot of damage of recent from either those little beetle bugs or slugs or whatever. So what I did to try to at least prevent the slugs from coming, you see this little strip? I added some copper tape to a lot of my grow bags just to see if we can get rid of at least one pest, get rid of the slugs, and be sure that they're not getting in these grow bags, especially since we've been having like intermittent rain and things like that in between these sunny days. So anything that I can do to help to prevent that, I'm gonna do. So there's lots of copper tape wrapped around a lot of these grow bags. But my sweet potato has been just like bursting in growth. And someone actually told me that sweet potato leaves are really, really good and really healthy for you. So I'll definitely be making a tea with these sweet potato leaves because there's definitely beneficial properties that are going to be in them. Right next to that is going to be my little blueberry plant. And I think I'm starting to see a little bit more growth out of this blueberry plant. Like I told you guys before, this plant hasn't been growing for more than a year. So I'm really not expecting any blueberries off of this plant this year, which is totally okay. I know that next year we'll get a nice bountiful harvest. Right next to it is going to be my cilantro as well as my cayenne peppers. I have to figure out a way to crop up my cayenne peppers because it's like it started growing straight up and then it just kind of like started curving to the right. So it looks like it's leaning a little bit, especially with these peppers that's growing on there. But guys, look at all of these cayenne peppers that are growing on this plant. My cayenne peppers have been going crazy. And I made a short talking about these peppers and I had to Google it because, man, I did not know that these peppers get as long as they get. They say they grow to be about 4 to 6 inches long each. And then look at my cilantro. My cilantro has just had a burst of growth. I am so glad that I didn't give up on them and I let them go ahead and continue to grow because it's looking really nice and beautiful. Yeah. Now, right over here is going to be my other cayenne pepper plant. And once again, you just see a whole bunch of cayenne peppers that are just growing all over the plant. And then there's a lot of flowers on them that's continuing to grow as well. So I'm pretty excited for them to like turn red and really start to produce and get ready for me to do what I do with the cayenne peppers. Right over here is my first of 2 habanero pepper plant. And let me see if you guys can see. Look at that. There's a habanero pepper right there. There's some habanero peppers that's growing in right there as well. And I'm excited about that because I want to make this bomb, maybe mango habanero hot sauce. Man, I am excited about that. And I'm going to gift them to all of my friends and family and things like that. So it has me really excited. And then the marigolds have started to kind of like pop out here as well. It's so beautiful to see like these different pops of color coming throughout the garden. Instead of having a sea of green, you have a sea of green, and then you have pops of this beautiful multicolored flowers. Oh, I'm really loving the marigolds. All right, coming right around to my other habanero pepper plant. This pepper plant it's almost like a stunted plant. It hasn't started to produce yet, but there are definitely lots of flowers that are getting ready to start to kind of like pop out of this one. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a tree full of habaneros on this as well. Now, coming right in, these 2 are my strawberry plants. This is actually they're in the dollar store builder thingies. And so there are actually 4 of these, and I went ahead and stacked them on top of each other just to consolidate it a little bit. And I told you guys a few weeks ago that just like the blueberries, I'm not really expecting much strawberries this year or any strawberries this year. But all of a sudden, this one plant right here started to grow flowers on it. And once it started to grow flowers, these things started to pop out. So it's looking like I'm gonna get like a handful of strawberries this year. And that is so nice. It'll be just a nice little garden snack to have while I am out here. So I'm super excited about that. I'm watching them closely to see when they're going to really start to turn so that I can put insect netting on them, because I don't want the birds to get them before I can enjoy at least 1 or 2 of them. All right. Now on this other side of my pepper patch is going to be this plant. I was so worried about it because it just like would not grow, or it wasn't growing as fast as the other plants. And I'm really learning that in gardening, it just requires just a whole lot of patience, especially waiting for the weather to get right. It just requires a lot of patience because this plant, and this is going to be like Scotch bonnet peppers, but I think it's something from Trinidad. So I think it's like a Trinidadian hot pepper, but they've started to grow like a lot of little pods and things like that. And I don't know if those are going to turn into flowers or if they're automatically going to turn into peppers or what, but I am definitely excited about its growth and excited to see how much and how well they produce. My mama has been waiting as well to see these produce, so I'm excited about seeing the first pepper so I can give her a call to let her know that I'll be sending her some of these peppers. All right over here is the first of 2 habanero pepper plants. I'm sorry, it's the first of 2 jalapeno pepper plants. And looky here, we have been having jalapenos that have just been growing on these plants. Lots of jalapeno peppers. I usually, every time I go to Popeyes, I make sure that I get a jalapeno pepper. So one of my goals for the jalapeno peppers is to make sure that I pickle some of them. And then, of course, I'm going to make a pepper season with them. And I'll be sending some of these to family members as well. I'll be sending some of all of my peppers to family members. My family's from the Virgin Islands, and they all love like spicy peppers and things like that. So I'll be sharing that with them. And then you have more marigolds popping out in this grow bag as well. Moving along. Right here is going to be my other habanero. Why do I keep saying habanero? My other jalapeno pepper plant. And like the other plant, lots of jalapeno peppers that's been growing on these plants. Definitely almost ready for harvesting. And then to turn around right here is my first of 2 bell pepper plants. And this plant right here is just starting to produce bell peppers. There's going to be one that's going to be coming in right there. One right here. Then I see another one right down there peeking out. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have quite a bit of bell peppers that's going to be growing on this plant. And I'm super excited about that. And then for the last bell pepper plant, it's so crazy because I was saying in one of the videos, I'm not sure if I was going to get anything out of this specific bell pepper plant. But look at this. Let me get in there. Look at this. You guys see that? Look at that bell pepper right there that's growing. I had to check it because I'm going to show you guys what I saw with one of the other bell peppers. I left it down here specifically for you guys. So this is one of the bell pepper plants that grew on the plant. But look at this right here. This little bad spot started to form on there. So I have to do a little bit of research and see what that is. I don't think it's blossom end rot because blossom end rot is supposed to start right there. But I'm going to definitely do my research to see what it is, to see if it's blossom end rot, because I don't think there's a deficiency with this plant. The rest of the plant is looking so good, but I just don't know. I was just baffled when I came out today and I saw this. So I just made sure that I'm consistently going to be checking the other peppers just to make sure that they're going to be okay and they'll be growing pretty nice. I have another pepper right here. So I'm going to definitely keep my eye on those. All right. And then right here, we have our sweet onions. My friend has been cutting the scallion portion of the sweet onions to make some stuff in the house. And they cut off basically the whole thing of this one. And look how it's just growing back. I'm excited. We cut that one as well, and they're starting to grow back. So it's just good to know, even when you cut the green part of the onions all the way down, that they'll continue to grow. And it's the same thing coming over here to the red onion as well. We went ahead and cut that off, and it is starting to grow back. So I'm excited about continuing to use the scallions, and then pretty soon looking forward to some onions as well. So guys, what do you think? Didn't we see some really great things going on in the garden today? And also some not so great things going on in the garden today? But that's okay. Like my friend Girl with Soil say, no losses, just lessons. And that has been a quote that has been pounding in my head every day that I come out in the garden and I see things happening that I don't want to see. But man, I am so happy, so excited about the tremendous growth that I have been experiencing in this garden. Now, next week, I'm definitely going to have more updates for you guys because everything that you currently see in the garden, I grew from seed, but there are a few plants that I went to my garden center to pick up that I want to add to the garden. And there's actually going to be a few more plants that I'm going to be planting from seed as well. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. Now, before I get out of here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a shade cloth over most of my vegetables and things like that. And then I want to show you guys how how the garden looks once I put the shade cloth over it. I'm glad that I have this enclosure because I use this enclosure to help with shading the whole garden. So before I end the video, I'm gonna show you guys really quick my shaded garden, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. All right guys, so this is how it looks when I shade cloth most of my garden. Right over here for the main part, I think this is a 20-foot by 8-foot shade cloth, and it's able to cover like the whole pepper patch and everything over in that area. I don't worry about covering the corn or the watermelons over here because they actually love these hot weather and these hot days. So yeah, most of my pepper patch over there is covered, and then I have a covering like right over here as well. Once again, that is it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out with me to explore and see what I have going on in the garden. I really appreciate you. It's just me, Rico from JustReikkoTV, and until the next week with a new garden update, garden tour, keep growing. And until the next time, peace.